Hey everyone, welcome to episode 149 of the All Dolphins podcast on this Monday, December 4th, 2023, day after the Dolphins took care of business against the Washington Commanders 45-15.
Beating another bad team.
I thought there was no such thing as a bad team.
I'm just quoting some people.
Okay. Beating a clearly inferior team, yes. Which, by the way, and tell me this.
Green Bay is clearly inferior than Kansas City. Somehow they just managed to pull off a victory, though.
You mean the same Green Bay team that a week earlier won at Detroit on Thanksgiving?
Yeah. What's the record?
They're 6-6 now.
That's 500.
Put some respect on their name. They're all.
Put some respect on the Green Bay Packers and Brian Flores' Jordan Love.
Yeah, dude, if you haven't been paying attention, they've been balling. And again, this is where even had Denver won yesterday, what I would tell you is beating Green Bay right now is a bigger accomplishment than beating Denver in week 3. But the Dolphins, again, I'm going to tip their hat because they're not only beating, they're spanking the teams they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's.
I was looking at it this morning, and I was doing the Joe Rose show, and I thought to myself, like this team beats teams by 30 points and 50 points and 21 points. This is a regular thing. Like Vegas makes their line obscene. I'm pretty sure they have one of the highest lines this week.
13.
13? God damn. 13, especially Derrick Henry being concussion protocol.
Hold on. Well, there's an update on that. I don't know if we should jump into it now or if we.
Okay, give the people their 49 number.
Okay,
Isn't Sam Egmovon 49?
Yes, he was.
Look at me! I'm showing off my numbers.
Hold on. You know what's coming. Drum roll.
Lament.
There you go. Yeah, and poor guy wound up with the New York Jets. So anyway,
hey, he's cashing an NFL check.
There you go.
6th season, got his pension. Mm-hmm. I'm fully in support of it.
Yep. This is for the older folks. In the
gray beards.
Watching. There you go. Well,
you see a couple. I'm about to color it though. I got to get a little younger in the game. Like I can't.
Yeah, but this is for the folks who have a lot more of this than you do.
See all this gray here? Don't undermine my gray now. Come on, brother. I got to figure something out.
Yeah, I'm not feeling your white hair pain. Sorry. No, I see it, dude. I see it. Except I have a lot more than you do. Anyway, this is shout out will go to Charlie Babb, who is part of the lore of the perfect team of 1972.
Never heard of him.
No, I know you didn't, because he blocked a punt that was recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. I think he also recovered it in the first playoff game that year against the Cleveland Browns, a game that the Dolphins won in a very tight manner, 20-14. So Charlie Babb, hat tip. I believe I don't want to say if he's passed on or not, but hat tip regardless.
Look at you killing the man, and he's probably still alive.
Well, it's hat tip to Charlie Babb, wherever you are. If he indeed has passed, and I should have checked that before I came on, then a hat tip to his memory and his family and loved ones. Okay, so the news with the Titans, as we move back to 2023, is apparently Mike Vrabel has said that Derrick Henry is fine. Jeffrey Simmons, on the other hand,
Hold on. Pause. Time out.
He's not in the protocol. They checked him. I guess he got evaluated for a concussion yesterday. Didn't go back in the game. Do you remember the Deshaun Elliott situation against the Eagles?
Yes.
Where the next day he was fine and he didn't get cleared quickly enough to get back in the game. But the next day he was fine. Javon Holland was cleared to get back in the game. He reported symptoms the following morning. Boom, he's in the protocol. Well, Mike Vrabel said Derrick Henry is not in the protocol. Do you honestly think they would play him with a 4-8 record if there's any concern? Come on. Really? Okay.
Listen, Derrick Henry's entering a contract year. He's going to be shopping himself to new suitors. And, I thought he would have been traded already. But, hey, he's going to finish out the year with the Titans. So the more yards he gets, the better he produces. Right now, he's the NFL's second leading rusher after taking over Raheem Mostert's spot. If I'm Derrick Henry, I'd want to be out there too. But I don't like that. I really don't like that. And not because the Dolphins are playing them the next week. I'm sorry, but I have lived through 15 years of the NFL in the pre-concussion protocol era, where players like Channing Crowder, after their playing days are over, admitted they probably suffered about 3 concussions per game. I'm sorry. I'm not buying the fact that Derrick Henry shouldn't be in the concussion protocol. Just me.
Okay, and I wasn't making any sort of value judgment on it one way or the other. I'm just telling you what Mike Vrabel said, which basically suggests he's going to play Monday night. Jeffrey Simmons is not playing. Who's their best defensive player? He's got a knee injury.
And I would argue is the top 3 defensive tackle in the NFL.
And I would agree with you.
And Christian Wilkins would be mad at us both.
Although he's getting up there. I will tell you, he's getting up there big time. I'll tell you, somebody else who I think deserves maybe more respects than he gets, because he gets easy to get lost on a Dolphin defense with a lot of big name. And I rewatched the game today, and holy smokes, was he all over the place.
Sealer.
Man. Oof,
yes.
Man, the dude had a game.
If he hadn't signed to a contract extension before the season started, he'd probably make double the money in the free agent market, which is Dolphins, boy. And I'm sure the Sealer and family are happy with what they landed. And remember, he signed that contract like a week or 10 days after having a knee scare. Remember that? And I'm always about go get your money while you can get it.
And you remember Christian walking over to him.
Yeah, like what are you doing? Like, yeah. I remember that day. That day was like and I remember talking to Zach about it, and Zach was like, and I was like, "What are you doing? Like, go sit down. Like, don't like take it easy." But that's the competitive nature of this player and this team. And I would not name him my top performer, however.
For yesterday?
No, he would not be in my top 3.
Okay.
Which is,
Yeah, now that you threw that out there like that, you have to name your top 3.
Clearly, I'm going with Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Then I'm going with Andrew Van Ginkel. And then I'm going with Tua Tagovailoa, who has moved into the number 3 spot from passer rating standpoint with 140 performance, which now is the second best performance of the season that he's had. And remember, he didn't finish the game.
By the way, gang, I'm not arguing about the quality of performance. I'm going to argue with Omar. I'm going to point out something. What does him leaving the game have to do with the passer rating number?
He could have put up even better numbers.
Or he could have had a couple of incompletions and the number would have gone down. I mean,
but I would rather anyway. Let me stop while we're.
I know, but you're like saying.
Let me stop while we're ahead.
Okay, but here's the problem I have is your list.
I said we were ahead. Go ahead. Here's the problem. Go ahead. What's the problem?
I'm about to agree with you here. And I can't even agree. And I'm sure there's somebody already waiting to type. Wait, see, there he goes with the Tua hate again. So it's really exhausting. Actually.
You do realize you are officially on Tuanon's Mount Rushmore of Tua haters.
Oh, absolutely. I was told there was a comment of something like, if there was a barbecue, I don't even make it past security. No, I'd be escorted out by security.
A barbecue for Tuanon?
A Tuanon barbecue, I'd be escorted out by security.
You would need protection. You would need security.
and it's sad because those fine folks wouldn't get to know what a nice
wonderful person that you're. Listen. I remember it was Sid Rosenberg. Do you remember the great Sid Rosenberg?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I'm not bringing up his political opinions. Do not agree with any of his political opinions. But Sid Rosenberg once put it to me this way when I worked at QAM. If they're not talking about you, you don't matter. It's better to be talked about and to be relevant than to be ignored. And you're relevant, my brother. You're relevant. And you bring facts to Tuanon that some Tua supporters, including myself at times, don't want to hear. Like, that's why I want you to take the 140 passer rating that he has for the first game in December and say, shove it. Because that's what Tua is going to do this season for the remainder of December.
That'd be right.
He's going to clean up his game and show everybody, I am in the Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes category, Josh Allen category of quarterbacks, Joe Burrow category of quarterbacks. I'm not even going to put Justin Herbert in there because he ain't in it. He ain't in the club. But anyway.
No. And dude, if he balls out, all I've said all along is I want to see it in December in big games. Yesterday was December.
It's not a big game.
It's not a big game, and it's correct. It's a 4-8 team with the 29th ranked class defense.
Hold on, let me ask you this question while we're having this conversation.
I was about to throw to a compliment to like. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Give the compliment.
No, I was going to say he absolutely, and your top three is like I'm like I can't argue with any of them. I hate leaving out Sealer because I thought he was fantastic, but then so was Van Ginkel. Tua was great. Tyreek was great.
Yeah.
Can we make it 4? Because I hate leaving out Sealer.
No. Because I would actually, and I know Zach balled out, but I'm sorry, Liam played a very good game.
He did.
Liam deserves props for the fact that, hey, I'm no longer a liability, I'm an asset, which is a position that he can take right this very minute. Now,
and we're getting sidetracked. You're going to ask me something here, and then
I'm going to ask you. Okay, we talk about this stretch and how the Dolphins have to take care of business to get to 11 before we get to the murderer's row in the season's final 3 games against Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo, which are what Mike McDaniels is consistently referred to as the elimination games. It's not eliminating you out of the playoffs, but it is going to determine and dictate how many home games you host and whether you get a first-round bye. Those are the elimination games.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay. If we know we need to get to 11 by winning the next 2, aren't they close to, they're not must-wins, but aren't they close to important games? Aren't they just as important as those final 3? Because
they're all important.
Okay.
But the thing here's the 2 things that in December, I'm sure you will agree, December games are different than September games in terms of the style of the play. Generally speaking, everything gets tighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the teams that have quit and basically mailed it in because I think Washington, when you watch Daron Payne and Allen play yesterday, it ain't look like those guys were trying to like win a ball game. It looked like they were trying to get through a game.
Correct. Let's get done. I'll go to the bank to cash my check, and then let's move on. So that's number 1, and then number 2, when you play big boy competition. So, but every game is important. Yeah, he passed the first December test, if you want to call that, with flying colors. I mean, he was great. I would never, for even a millisecond, put up any objection to him to saying he was great yesterday. He was. And now I lost my train of thought. No. The thing with what I have said all along is that's missing from his resume. If he continues to balls out, as I said, this not only that he's going to be somebody asked me, could he be MVP? Absolutely. If he balls out the rest of the way. Yeah. Right now, I would think the odds are going to come out tomorrow. Usually when they come out, it's going to be Brock Purdy, some combination of Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, and Tua is probably going to be 4th or 5th.
With Lamar Jackson going to be on that list.
Sorry?
I said, where's Tyreek going to be on that list?
As of last week, he was way down the betting odds, and that's
ridiculous.
But that's a completely different story. Oh yeah, dude. I've also told you this: if he balls out in December and completes this season the way he started it, yeah, absolutely, big money contract extension coming up. And all I've said all along is I want to see it. That's all. So yeah, every game is important because right now the Dolphins have put themselves there where they're currently. It could change tonight, Monday night, but they're currently the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. Jacksonville, and I outlined the whole thing on alldolphins.com earlier on Monday. Jacksonville beats
all your work for free. No subscriptions, no,
paywalls.
You just type in the words alldolphins.com. You really should have a bookmark on your page. And the information and stories come up for free magically.
So yeah, the Jaguars are going to be at home against the Joe Burrow-less Bengals. So another dose of Jake Browning.
Anybody can get you though. Anybody can get you in the NFL. Skylar Thompson.
True, but they're varying degrees. So like for example, could the Titans get the Dolphins next Monday night? Sure,
Yeah.
they play the game under the same circumstances 100 times. The Dolphins win 95, 96 of them. So yeah, fluky night where everything perfect storm of garbage, bad break, whatever. Sure, they could be.
Hey man, Will Levis could get a hot hand. We've seen Derrick Henry run for 200 yards against the Dolphins. Miami can commit a ton of turnovers. You could have a major injury that impacts your line, your quarterback, your defense. You never know. You never know.
Sure, but yeah, if I'm selling the game for ESPN, that's exactly what I say. You never know. It's going to be a competitive game.
Speaking of selling the game and ESPN, you know who's going to be on the Manning cast
Tonight?
Mm-hmm. Tua Tagovailoa.
Are you serious? Nice.
Yes, he's going to be the first guest. And you know Tua doesn't do like really national appearances, promotional things. I guess he's stepping out of his comfort zone, or maybe they twisted his arm enough. The Mannings do have a lot of juice in this, media world. So Tua, while he might have turned down quarterback, their documentary series, he's going to be part of the Manning cast, and props to him because I love to see Tua get out there and promote himself and let everybody see Cornrow Tua or what's the cat? What's he?
Or fluffy hair too. I mean, is he back to
No,
he's like cornrows, right?
He's got the fresh cornrows now. So yeah, he'll be do-rag Tua. He'll probably be do-rag Tua.
Oh, there you go. Okay. No, I did not know that. Very cool. So where were we? Okay, we're talking about the playoff seedings. You're correct. And the thing is, if Jacksonville wins, they become 7-2 in conference play. The Dolphins are 6-2, even if they had the same number of losses. Jacksonville would get in because the subsequent tiebreaker, as indicated on the story on alldolphins.com, is strength of victory. And the Dolphins
strength of victory. So that means like point differential?
No, it means the combined winning percentage of the teams you beat. And the Dolphins ain't winning that tiebreaker with anybody in the AFC. In fact, they have, I believe, the third worst in the NFL, and the Dallas Cowboys are right there with them. So, which is why the narrative that annoys so many Dolphin fans about beating a good team also applies to the Dallas Cowboys. But I certainly believe that both the Cowboys and the Dolphins will secure one of those signature wins before the end of the season.
You know what I like about both the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins, and you know I'm not an offensive person. I really am not. That's just not my nature. I like trench play and I like defense. Sue me. I'm not a fantasy football player. But both of those teams can put
except you like certain quarterback play. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I like accurate, efficient quarterback play. And to be honest with you, there's a very short list of quarterbacks I actually like in the NFL. And Tua happens to be one of them. But yes, continue. Yes.
Well, the quarterback play around the league this year has been
booty cheeks.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with the injuries. A lot of it has to do with development of quarterbacks. Look at where college is right now, where it's going to cost you $1 million to get a veteran starting quarterback in NIL money. Mm-hmm. Like you're not even you're talking about Tyler Van Dykes of the world. $1 million?
Ouch.
Like whatever happened to the days of developing quarterbacks and grooming them and growing them into like now you gotta pay for one. Like UM's out there shopping for Ohio State's backup quarterback for $1 million. Are you kidding me?
There's starters in the portal.
Yeah. This is what college football is nowadays, which is I'm all for players getting paid and players being compensated. But I mean, we've kind of let it out the bag. I was like, okay, they should get a stipend. They should get, I'm sorry. Like this is crossing the line right now. And it's probably going to get worse when there's a 12-team playoff next year. Woo. But anyway.
Anyway, back to you were saying what you admire about the Dallas Cowboys.
Points, scoring, Dolphins. Dolphins
Yeah.
can put up 30 on a team. I mean, win by 30, bro. They scored 45 points and they took the foot off the gas. How do you score 45 points and take your foot off the gas?
Well, no, they in the sense that they started just running the ball in that last drive, but they scored on their final possession after going. Dude,
if I'm going to be out there, I'm going to be trying to score.
No, that's fine, but don't be. You can't say they took their foot
No,
off.
if I didn't take my foot off the gas, I'd be throwing two in that final possession.
They scored a touchdown and they went for it twice.
Twice
on fourth down. No, because at that time, and this is why. Remember when I pushed back a little bit. How was this different than the Denver game when Mike White came in the game yesterday? All they did was hand off, except for the shovel pass on third and goal. But against Denver, he went up top and hit and chosen. And I kind of get the feeling that, somebody brought up the idea that maybe the fact that Mike McDaniel never got an interview with the Broncos when they had an opening, perhaps
absolutely
the wrong way. Well, okay. So this is why, and this is why I was saying that in a normal situation like this,
and don't forget Sean Payton was trying to debo his job. Don't forget that. It ain't just the Broncos never gave him an interview. Remember, Sean Payton wanted to be here, and
correct.
Before he got hired, and was finagling his way and trying to see if they could get out of the deal. And the Dolphins asked for permission and were denied, and got channel talks and fined by the NFL. And yeah. You don't think Mike McDaniel, those coaches' agents, they know what's going down. So Mike McDaniel had to wait for probably like 10 days before Sean Payton finally pulled himself out. Yeah, there's beef. There's beef.
Well, no, the Saints denied permission, so it was.
They were still talking.
Okay,
that's what the
NFL
pow was for.
Sure. That's where the pow was for.
I mean, you know what it was for, but you can't say what it was for.
Officially, okay.
Yeah, you know what it was for, but you can't say or acknowledge what it was for.
Correct.
They got pow because they talked to Sean Payton without permission. Pow. And Tom Brady without permission. Pow.
Yeah, because we all know the real reason rhymes with ranking. No, and that brought
and embarrassing us with a lawsuit against the entire league for racial discrimination, which is kind of valid.
Yeah, but no. The discipline is post Flores, so why?
No.
Yeah.
It's all Senate. He's at the root of it all, brother.
So you're saying the NFL punished the Dolphins as an offshoot of having been sued by Flores because it makes the league look in a bad light?
Absolutely.
Okay. To me, yeah,
and the tanking, which makes it look in a bad light, and the fact that you're embarrassing the league. Yes,
I do. I do want to bring back another point where we talk about those. But if you think those revenge things with coaches don't happen, remember Adam Gase when they played the Broncos in 2017? Called an onside kick in the fourth quarter of a 35-9 win. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yes. Coaches are petty, and I believe Mike McDaniel falls into the petty category. Like how often does he bring it up to us that, hey, you guys laughed at me when I said we have depth on the offensive line, and I have the last laugh. Like we might hear that once a week.
Speaking of which, what I saw from Keon Smith looked good.
It was run blocking, bro. Pass blocking is like
he was there for the entire second half, and I said what I said. What I saw of Keon Smith, he looked good.
All right, we can put him at number 4 ahead of.
I would put him number 4 because again, yes, I'm going to consider the quality of the opposition, and Washington is a bad team. And their right tackle who got abused by Andrew Van Ginkel, Emmanuel Lagba. You name it, he got abused by everybody. My Lord, was he bad? And by the way, that's the former Chiefs starting right tackle who they dumped to pick up Jawan Taylor from the Jaguars, who's also not very good. Is there a lie told? By the way, a couple of quick notes as I was watching this, rewatching the game. Remember I told you of Brandon Jones on the play where he blitzed? Well, I just noticed, I hadn't noticed this, but Nick Needham was blitzing from the other side. He sent 2 DBs after the quarterback. This was one of the first third downs of the game for the Commanders, and they got the stop. That was very good.
Yes, Nick Needham played a couple snaps. I'm sure you know because you've obsessed about snap counts. How many snaps did Needham play on defense?
Off the top of my head, it wasn't many. They went with a very, very strict 11, obviously counting for the Jerome Baker, Duke Riley swap, and it was the nickel set with the 2 down linemen, the 4 linebackers, and the 5 DBs, and Cater being the 5th. And Emmanuel Ogba's snap count was not very high. He got another sack. I know that, but he played 16 snaps, which is
16. Why you always do that, man? 16 snaps is a good amount for a third down pass rusher. Like, what do you want? What do you want from him? Like, what do you want? 20 snaps, 30 snaps?
A lot of snaps.
16 snaps is a good amount of snaps. You think Jason Pierre-Paul is going to play more than 16 snaps?
Oh, he played 3 because that was his first game. By the way, Channing Tindall played 3 snaps on defense.
Okay.
The last 3 snaps of the game. After the Dolphins scored to make it 45-15.
Needham played 9 snaps.
Okay, 9 snaps.
Bro, you're the Raekwon Davis played 19 snaps.
Correct. Because they stayed mostly in nickel. And is that why the run defense wasn't quite as good as it's been the past few weeks? They gave up 120 something yards, including there was a long run on the outside where somebody lost contain.
Chris Samuels was, I believe, the runner, and I'm sorry, but a linebacker like that guy's fast. That guy's oh no, he wasn't the runner.
It was Brian Robinson.
Yeah, but Chris Samuels was, I guess, catching passes out the backfield. And that was a total mismatch.
Well, that's the one where Jerome was on him.
Yeah. It's funny that I'm looking at when I look at the box score and I see how bad Sam Howell played statistically. All I remember is the good plays that he made, and I saw a lot of pocket presence. I saw a lot of mobility, but I mean, he finished with a 50.5 passer rating. And bad statistics. But I remember watching that game, and I was quite impressed. Now, does that mean that the defense has taken a step backwards because they allowed 15 points? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But I think this defense, expecting the defense to be the same without Jalen Phillips and Jerome Baker, is a little bit aggressive, in my opinion. And I'm not ready to sit there and say that you're going to lose 2 key players and not have any kind of loss. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. But I mean, what they gave up? They didn't give up 300 yards. They gave up. I mean, seriously, they gave up.
I literally
245 total yards.
Yeah,
they did give up one long run. One was really a long catch. It was, and they were in Sam Howell's grill pretty much. I wouldn't say the whole game, but a lot of there weren't a whole lot of clean dropbacks for Sam Howell. I thought the defense played the defense played fine. Dude, they're not gonna. The Commanders are a little bit better offensively than the Jets. They're not gonna completely strangle everybody they play offensively.
The Dolphins are ranked 6th in the NFL in total yards allowed, behind Cleveland, Baltimore, Dallas, Kansas City, and San Francisco. They're at 300.2 yards per game allowed, and in fact, when it comes to rushing run defense, they're ranked 8th, which is I thought they could do a little bit better, but from a scoring standpoint, red zone is where their main issue is. They're ranked 28th in the NFL, allowing 66.7% of red zone opportunities to turn into touchdowns. And points wise, allowed, yeah, they're not good. They're 11th worst in the NFL.
11th worse?
Yeah, 22.2 points allowed per game. But that's not surprising because
they're also 9-3.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot, and then we're in a period right now. As far as I'm concerned, it's almost like I don't know that there's. It's weird. I don't know that there's a ton of unknown until we get to Christmas Eve, because I fully expect one of these against Tennessee. I fully expect one of these against the Jets in the rematch, and then we get down to business. And by that time, kind of thing. They will have clinched the AFC's title, and then it'll be, let's.
Man, it's Christmas Eve against the Cowboys. Then you go New Year's Eve against Baltimore. Boy, our holidays are ruined. And then Buffalo, man. Buffalo the next week. Buffalo to me is the biggest game of that 3-game stretch.
I know you said that time and time.
I know, and I know how you feel about Baltimore, and I know it's going to have significant ramifications. But you know who pays child support for the Miami Dolphins? Josh Allen. and there's no way that you can sit and play Josh Allen and not think that this guy isn't your daddy. He's your daddy. He owns you, and you got to get over that hump, man. And that hump is mental. And if this team can beat Josh Allen at home in the season finale, I promise you, Buffalo will be waiting for you in the rematch. They might not even leave South Florida. They might just stay here for an entire week, just so that they can show you Josh Allen needs visitation rights with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, man. Okay, well, see, I have my sights set higher than that to the number 1 seed. I think I said that KC was vulnerable, and it's a good Green Bay team. The Green Bay right now at this moment, Green Bay is a solid team, and KC was dropping players all over the place yesterday. They lost one of their safeties with that nasty injury. I don't know if you saw the replay of it, or that somebody had online, because they wouldn't show it on the telecast, and basically, his ankle just snap in half, basically. Yeah. So he's done. They had a linebacker who left the game with a concussion, and then they lost Donovan Smith, their left tackle.
Injuries can turn a game.
No, I know that. Correct. But they were vulnerable before then. They're saying you're your dad's Chiefs. Whatever the saying goes. And then to me, I think the team to worry about because of their schedule as much as anything else is Jacksonville.
I worry about Baltimore, but you can worry about Jacksonville.
I think Baltimore is a better, more playoff type team by far.
Baltimore is not the team you want to face. I don't worry about Jacksonville. They don't scare me.
Okay.
And in fact, they're probably going to, depending on your seeding, you might see them in the second round. And, I just want to avoid I honestly want to avoid the Baltimore, Kansas City bracket. Everybody else, bring it on.
Except for Buffalo, right?
I don't want to avoid them. I know I need to go see my father. That's that. I know I need to go visit daddy and I got to show him I'm a man. This playoffs will go through Buffalo. Just remember I said it. I said it. Unless they flatline and just absolutely tank at the end of the season, Dolphins karma says you're going to have to see your daddy. So,
well, Buffalo's 2 big games before the season finale against the Dolphins are coming up in the next 2 weeks at Kansas City.
Okay.
And then they have Dallas at home before Dallas comes here.
So either way, this Kansas City Buffalo game, Miami's in a win-win, correct? Because either they knock off, either Kansas City pushes Buffalo out of playoff contention or wild card contention, or
you push KC down.
While you hopefully continue to go up. Interesting. And then you said they got Dallas. Dallas, they don't work. They don't have ramifications in terms of what they do.
Well, in the sense that they could push Buffalo down again, or they could knock them out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like if last team made the playoffs last year in the AFC was who was it? Oh yeah, it was the Dolphins. They were 9-8. So if we're going to go by that same record that they need to attain, Buffalo 6-6, which means they have to go 3-2. I think 2 of those games are at the Chargers on a Saturday or Sunday night, and then they have New England also. They have New England at home.
Okay, so that's 2 wins right there, and then they got to get a third. They got to beat the Dolphins to get into the playoffs. Ain't that?
See, that would be a fun scenario.
And they'll probably play the Dolphins in the first round.
See, my cool scenario is the Dolphins are playing for the number 1 seed in week 18, and Buffalo's playing to stay alive in the playoffs.
My realistic scenario, which is the only thing that I deal with, is the Dolphins are the number 2 seed, and they're going to be playing the Buffalo Bills in the season finale to determine whether Buffalo's in or out of the playoffs. And if they don't beat Buffalo and Buffalo gets in, then the Dolphins play Buffalo the next week. That's my realistic scenario. But hopefully,
but then that means that the Dolphins would have the kind of cushion for the number 2 seed where they could lose the finale and still stay at number 2.
Possibly. Okay. Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's going to be quite the battle for those 5, 6, 7 spots in the AFC.
Didn't Pittsburgh just lose Kenny Pickett too? So
not only that, they lost at home against Arizona. I mean, woof.
You say that any team can get you, man. Any team can get you.
If you're a mediocre team, if you're a good team like the Dolphins who take care of their business against bad teams, are you going to argue that the now 2-10 Arizona Cardinals are not a bad team and that was a horrible loss for the Steelers? And this is where again we need to tip our hat to the Dolphins because they have not fallen victim to that.
Yes, they've taken care of business, but I struggle with saying and acknowledging and giving call a team. You know that I can't do that. I really can't. It just
and I have no problem. They suck. They're bad. They're horrible. I mean, I have no problem.
I won't even call the Patriots a bad team. I think they're a tanking team. I think they should tank, but I'm not gonna call them a bad team because Bill Belichick can get you. Not with the quarterbacks he's got going on right now, but he can get you.
The Jets have a good defense, and their offense can't do a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost 13-8 yesterday. I mean, geez.
Hey man, Trevor Siemian could get that thing greased up and going. or we can have Aaron Rodgers, the Aaron Rodgers show. So we could.
The Dolphins, yeah, no, that ship has sailed. In fact, now apparently the latest report I heard is it probably is not happening. I mean,
Aaron's not practicing.
No, he's practicing, but the idea that he's going to get activated and play in a game is like.
If he wants to be activated and play in the game, he's going to be activated and play in the game.
Or he just wants to keep his name in the news and keeps throwing that out there and people are talking about him or what I don't know. Does it make any sense whatsoever for him to play against behind an ass offensive line?
He's Aaron Rodgers. He can do whatever he wants and he calls the shots.
Correct. I mean,
and he wants a historic comeback from an Achilles injury.
Sure. And he used to own the Bears. Now he owns the Jets. So that's true.
Yeah.
I do want to point out one last thing. Oh no, a couple of quick more things.
Housekeeping. Go ahead.
There's no. The Dolphins did not have any media availability today, so we didn't have the obligatory day after the game Mike McDaniel media session.
So we do not know the update on Jerome Baker, not yet.
Correct. And there is a media availability tomorrow.
But I'm not naive enough to not think that Jerome Baker is going to miss a couple of weeks at the minute.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. I did want to say, like, it appears that maybe the running back rotation has been set, and it's not good news for our friend Jeff Wilson Jr.
I think Jeff Wilson can be used based on the personnel and the opponent that you're playing. So, what
number of snaps?
Okay.
All in the last drive.
Okay.
No, I mean, okay.
I think it's based on personnel and how you want to play, and I think that could change at the snap of a finger based on people going into the game and the performances, and so I'm not stressing that, and I don't think Jeff Wilson is stressing it either. And
I'm not stressing it. I'm just pointing it out. And the last thing that I actually wrote down notes today. Came actually prepared, like a good little student.
When are you not prepared? Really? Seriously?
No. A lot of times I just do it on the fly. Jason Sanders, I think we're not quite there yet, maybe, but I think we're getting very close to the point where we can feel a whole lot better, a lot more confident about his field goal kicking.
Hey, they never been worried. They gave him an extension.
Correct. Well, no,
Restructured the contract. Yeah,
they did. But well, he's doing well. Oh, and then the absolute final thing I lied. Like that's the final thing, and I put this up on Twitter today. It's like, not that it had anything to do with the outcome, but as an indication of a bad team or poorly run. Please explain to me how it makes sense on the second play of the fourth quarter when the Dolphins are leading 38-15. Quick math, that's a 23-point difference. On 4th and 8 from your opponent's 35-yard line, you go for a field goal attempt. That if you make, you cut the margin to 20 points, which again, doing very quick math, still requires 3 touchdowns. It makes 0 sense. Anyway, that's just me. It just boggled the mind.
you're going to be fired at the end of the year anyway.
Oh, I know. And this is where I severely overestimated the level of how much you give a crap about what I just said.
No. I get what you're saying, but I take points. Like I'm the historical rankings when you talk about Ron Rivera's Commanders teams, you know, he'll probably never get a head coaching job again in the NFL. And I want to make sure I go out with as many points as I possibly can. I wasn't going to win the game.
You try a 53-yard field goal. Okay.
Hey, man.
Not sure your logic.
Kickers need love, too. Kickers need work.
Okay.
Maybe they were testing his range.
Who knows? No, apparently he's got a big leg. So anyway, I think on this very, very rapidly down spiraling note, we should wrap it up. Are we doing behind enemy lines tomorrow, or are we moving it back as a whole schedule?
We are doing it tomorrow, but we'll probably air it on Wednesday.
Okay.
So
excellent.
yes. So we will have behind enemy lines with Teron Davenport, who is one of my favorite guys to follow in the NFL, a great insider for ESPN covering the Titans. He can give us the backstory on Rand Carthon's era with the Tennessee Titans. Is their head coach safe? You know, is Will Levitt's going to have a future as a starting quarterback? What happens to Ryan Tannehill? You'll have all of that on Behind Enemy Lines on Wednesday. Tomorrow, we will be giving you the usual Monday edition of the All Dolphins podcast, breaking down the latest update status on Teron Armstead, Jerome Baker, and some of the other players.
Robert
Hunt, yeah, with that hammy. But look forward to, we'll also do a breakdown of Hard Knocks episode. So we'll look forward to that.
We're doing that tomorrow night?
Yeah, why not? I don't have a basketball game. Why not?
Okay. So
all righty.
Look forward to live recap of the Hard Knocks episode tomorrow night after our regularly scheduled.
And you can find the tease that Hard Knocks produced about the roller coaster celebration at alldolphins.com, where you can find all your Dolphins coverage for free. And you know how to find this podcast. We're on audio called All Dolphins. We're on YouTube called All Dolphins. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and we will see you tomorrow.